Proving once again his commitment to embracing diversity, President Biden has now declared Easter Sunday as Transgender Visibility Day. Really? On the day of the resurrection of Jesus. And President Biden is a Catholic. No, I'm not asking questions. I'm just saying because we also banned all religious symbols from the White House Easter egg roll. So the whole thing together, kind of dark. Okay, let's just move on. This is perhaps one of the biggest accomplishments from the Biden administration, demonstrating respect for the first ever transgender Baphomet. Okay, that's a no-go. That's a no-go. But you know what? Let's keep it. Because it's true and at least we're honest about it. So great job, guys.
Yeah, awesome job, especially if you're trying to rile people up and push a larger divide and conquer agenda. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Rudkowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there's a lot of absolutely crazy and wild news to get into today, as the Biden administration likes to virtue signal some very interesting things, as a lot of people really aren't happy or impressed with that, as the Pope and Joe Rogan just made some very big declarations that are very similar to each other that are absolutely worth talking about today, March 31st, Easter Sunday, a day that the federal government doesn't really want to recognize. And gee, I wonder why. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, the larger kind of cultural backlash that's happening right now, all here on this independent media organization. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by @CatchUpFeed. We, of course, will be linking them in the description below so you could check out more of their work. But their kind of satirical White House response video about their Trans Day of Visibility was pretty accurate, as a lot of people are kind of shocked and surprised about what's going on here, especially Christians, especially people from the right wing, including even the former president of the United States, that is now demanding that Joe Biden issue an apology over the, quote, blasphemous Trans Visibility Day on Easter Sunday, going on and calling it appalling. And truly, you do kind of have to wonder here, especially with the larger moves being made against Christian groups all throughout the United States by the federal government. What's the larger kind of goal here and agenda? And you could have marked this day any other day of the week, but you chose specifically Easter Sunday as almost as if it was a deliberate attempt to try to anger and trigger people, as the White House not only doubled down on their, quote, inclusive message, but decided to triple down on it. As in the making of this video, Joe Biden took, or his handlers took, to Twitter and announced that they are celebrating the joy, strength, and absolute courage of some of the people to be the bravest, as they're trying to show millions that non-binary Americans belong in the United States and, quote, should be treated with dignity and respect. And, of course, no one is disagreeing with any human being not being treated with dignity and respect. I mean, obviously, that goes without saying. But with an ever-so divisive America, with an ever-so dire political election year, maybe this is the time we could tone things down a little bit. And the Biden administration is saying, nope. Let's ratchet it up to 100 and let that start some ish. As one of the least liked politicians on the face of this earth, Kamala Harris also came out and issued a very similar message, declaring that, quote, we won't stop fighting for you, as some people are taking this situation in stride and deciding to make jokes about it, like MAGA Devil Dog that released this video, allegedly from the Biden administration.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Woo! Yeah! The best part of that clip was literally taken out. There's people literally that clap for the president of the United States when he jumbles his words and says googly gawk, which is indicative of the political party that, of course, doesn't like to be made fun of, doesn't like to be questioned, as some other individuals are being very inappropriate and are using this Trans Day of Visibility in order to make some jokes about Michelle Obama. As, of course, clearly, absolutely, there is no merit of truth to questioning her gender, as absolutely 100% she is a woman. But some people like this facetious social media poop poster are deciding to crack jokes about this situation. He has even gone as far as to create a t-shirt about this matter with a phallic symbol that we can't show you here because this is a family-friendly show, as he's selling the shirt right now on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. This man is absolutely egregious, absolutely ridiculous, and shows you just how immature people on in the social media could be. And of course, there's nothing funny about this Trans Day of Visibility that we absolutely need to be taken seriously. And these cockamamie, hee-hoo-ha-ha funny people absolutely do not deserve a voice in our political discourse and should be censored by the federal intelligence agencies immediately. In many instances, they already are. This as in other related very big bodacious black women news, we have Lizzo announcing that she is quitting the music industry after, of course, she received criticism for headlining a Joe Biden fundraiser. Yes, you hear that correctly. Lizzo, the Oreo-loving, big, black, bodacious lady, said, quote, "I feel like the world doesn't want me in it," declares she is unhappy. This as, of course, she is also dealing with some significant allegations from people that she previously worked with about, quote, unprofessional misconduct that was degrading to her fellow coworkers. As the Oreo-loving big lady really likes the Biden administration as well, and that message just doesn't jive with even fellow Democrats that are really upset about the Biden's policies inside of the Middle East right now. As of course, Lizzo, like other establishment figures in the corporate Hollywood predator industry that join the likes of Harvey Weinstein, Sean P. Diddy Combs, a Mr. Epstein, a Mr. Spacey, all highlight some of the biggest proponents of the Democratic Party and are also individuals that don't have the best track record of being good people. Ellen DeGeneres is another one. My goodness, these people, all of them, almost all of them, are rotten to its core. This as we keep finding out more and more crazy details surrounding P. Diddy Combs, which of course we covered in previous videos and will be covering as the story develops. But it definitely does seem like there's some kind of larger kind of cultural shift, a rift and divide within the United States, not just between the Democrats and the Republicans, but a lot of people who are becoming more and more anti-establishment that are getting pissed off about the government intervening in their lives. This as now local governments in New York City have decided to go after the FDNY, as now the fire department in New York City is told to remove their stars and stripes that are honoring 9/11 heroes because a Democratic lawmaker decided to brand it a, quote, fascist symbol. Now, this is the symbol that these firefighters are holding up in this particular picture. And this is the New York City Councilwoman that, of course, is leading the charge on requesting firefighters get rid of the thin red line. Because, you know, it's not like there's actual serious priorities and issues that the people of New York City have to deal with. It's not like they're dealing with record numbers of crime. It's not like there's actual issues that politicians should be trying to fix here, as, of course, these symbols trigger me. Therefore, they need to be getting rid of immediately, as, of course, the FDNY is also on a manhunt for individuals who dare not applaud and cheer for the Attorney General of New York and actually decided to boo her. Individuals a part of the fire department that were actually punished for doing so. In another sign of a divided society, we have the New York governor that was recently told to leave the wake of a New York City police officer during his funeral, as she was seen abruptly leaving just 10 minutes into the procedure, as some police officers even clapped on her departure, highlighting how a lot of the blue-collar firefighters, police officers, average day Joes, they're just really unhappy, really unsatisfied with the way that things are going. And a lot of people are being fed up and they're just sick of it. And that's one reason out of many reasons why I created LukeUnfiltered.com, our own quasi-secret, not so secret society where, of course, your memberships also help spur the growth of communities all throughout the United States. We do in real life meetups that we have conducted all around this particular country. Soon we might be even doing international meetups, but in just 2 to 3 weeks from now, we are going to be doing an in real life touching of the grass moment, a hike that you get to participate in and take part in just by simply signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. That hike right now is going to be happening in Southern Florida, and I'm going to be organizing more hikes all throughout the United States, where, of course, people will just come together, walk together in nature. Maybe some kind of botanist will come and tell us what plants to look out for, what plants to avoid. As of course, your memberships help spur on these communities that you also get to be a part of. Again, your memberships are more important than ever. We have 3 masterclasses, we have a forum, we have a members-only store where we actually highlight shirts that we can't even make public. There's a lot of other shirts that again, we sell. We can't show you because they're pretty salacious. Some of them are really awesome designs that are only available for members at cost, which will also save you a bunch of money. I do a lot of different things. If there's a member that actually wants something, we go out of our way to actually provide them whatever it is. And it means a lot to us to be able to foment this kind of larger community where we get to talk to each other. A part of this membership group, you also get a Telegram channel. On that Telegram channel, you actually get to call into our show, a show that we're going to be doing Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday this upcoming week, 6 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, with some really awesome, incredible people in studio here with us. This, as of course, we are going to have some really awesome guests in studio this upcoming week that will be really awesome. And we'll be breaking down some major big stories, all here exclusively on the best political show. As of course, we have to move on and talk about the main focus of discussion. And that, of course, is the Pope today on Easter Sunday that Newsweek is reporting is, quote, facing a growing revolt. As previously on this independent media organization, we covered some very controversial, non-orthodox kind of methods by the Pope that have actually angered a lot of fellow Catholics, as a lot of woke policies have previously been advocated by the Pope, who has shown his support for the LGBT community, called for open immigration policies in the Western world, and even partnered with many multinational corporations and even the Rothschilds together on their visions of, quote, changing capitalism. This says, of course, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this Pope, as he has spurred on a lot of kind of leftist liberal talking points that has also created a larger divide within the Catholic Church and has really angered a lot of individuals a part of that larger religious organization. And previously, when we criticized the Pope, we brought up some things that he said that we absolutely disagreed with, as today, on Easter Sunday, he said something that surprisingly, we actually agree with, and we find very important to highlight and talk about, as of course Pope Francis just came out and said that peace is never made with weapons during his Easter Sunday Mass in St. Peter's Square, specifically calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and Ukraine. Important messages that I think should be heard worldwide, as of course a lot of the corporate media usually is dominated with pro-war talking points by individuals that have been either influenced or paid off by the military-industrial complex that, of course, has an invested interest when it comes to prolonging, starting, or expanding certain conflicts that a lot of people do not want. And this is why Pope Francis's message is so important, because it counters a lot of that propaganda that we keep hearing every single day from the corporate media. And more importantly, it represents a major member of the establishment, a major member of this kind of woke indoctrination camp, corporatist ideology, saying enough is enough of the bloodshed here, and we really have to stop these foreign conflicts. As it's also important to note that the United States is financing both of these wars and writing the checks for them in many instances. And now, particularly today, making a strong appeal for a ceasefire in Gaza, calling for prisoner swaps between Russia and Ukraine, giving off a heartfelt message of prayer for peace is something that we have to commend the Pope for doing, because it's something that I think is absolutely critically important at this juncture, at this time that we are all in right now. That other than just this message from the Pope doesn't look like it will stop anytime soon. A lot of the times these conflicts are probably going to be expanding and probably going to be continued. And we should always criticize someone for saying the wrong things, but we should also compliment someone for saying the right things as well, as the Pope is a real one for his larger Easter Sunday message that I think should be heard by many more people. As of course, he's not the only individual that, of course, is calling for a ceasefire as one of the other few individuals in our society that is brave enough to be anti-war is, of course, Joe Rogan, an individual who is just a podcaster. He's a sports commentator, but he has a huge cultural impact on our society. As today, Rabbi Shmuley really isn't happy with him, as Joe Rogan has described what is happening in Gaza as a small-scale, deliberate destruction and demise of an entire population, which Rabbi Shmuley decided to describe as a, quote, blood libel, asking Joe Rogan to, of course, officially debate him, as these are the statements right now that a lot of people are talking about, specifically when it comes to the situation in the Middle East right now, that the Pope would agree with is getting completely out of hand.
I want to know what she was fired for. Because was it criticism of Israel? Was it, I mean, did she show that Edward Snowden video that he put up on Twitter that shows them drone bombing those kids that are, those men, I should say unarmed people that were walking towards the rubble that clearly weren't causing any danger to anybody? Yeah, right. They just bombed them.
Yeah, no, it's your duty. It's just like for Biden or whoever you like, you're supposed to cover up for them. Because
but the whole thing is like they're always saying they're only targeting Hamas and everybody else is a casualty. Well, if those guys are just unarmed civilians and they're walking alone, that's what they appear to be.
Dresden.
And you just blast them from the sky with robots.
This is the tragedy of war.
Yeah, this is insane. And no one knows what to think now, because if you can't talk about that, if you can't say that's real, then you're saying that is okay as long as we're doing it. And
that is what we're saying.
And if you're saying that from a perspective of someone who literally went through the Holocaust, or your people, your tribe, went through the Holocaust, and now you're willing to do it?
I hope the irony's not lost on you.
It's so nuts. It's so hard to imagine that someone where a culture, like a country was like officially founded in, what, 47?
48.
48? Okay, officially founded. So that's so recent. and you guys are willing to do what was done to you that led you to believe that you needed to start your own country? You're willing to do that at least on a small scale in Gaza. Like, there's nothing left. If you see the videos, let's see some recent footage of Gaza.
This, as the situation in Gaza is becoming more and more troublesome, even for the Biden administration that is financing it. And whatever side you are on, whether you are pro-Israeli or pro-Palestinian, I think it's fair to say that this war has gone on far too long, that there are too many civilian casualties here, that there's too much of a cycle of violence here, that in my opinion, absolutely needs to be stopped before it expands, grows, and gets completely out of control. What do you think? Do you agree with the statements made by the Pope and Joe Rogan? Or do you disagree with these bald-headed individuals who are proclaiming that we need more peace? What do you think about this current situation? Let me know down in the description down below. I'm super excited to meet a lot of you people in real life for our nature hike. And thank you so much for becoming members. Thank you so much for sharing these videos, getting them out there to the general public. It means the world to me. And that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on LukeUnfiltered.com. WeAreChange.org. See you there. Love you guys. Happy Easter.